Okay, this is one of the most important aspects of research. In this lecture, you will learn how to do some surveys in the future because, you know, a part of being an architecture student is to try to study human behavior and interrelationship of variables to that behavior, or vice versa, the effect of building to the human behavior. Now, quantitative method class is used in the social sciences, especially the social sciences, because they want to learn how people behave and they want to learn using numbers only. So in the early decades, like 1920s and even 1940s up to 1970s, and even in the 1990s, there are uh, there are developments in statistics that specializes in human behavior. No? Now, let's begin by comparing quali versus quanti. Now, you have learned earlier the major schools of thought in qualitative research. Now, qualitative research has three main branches. So, we have ethnography, phenomenology, grounded theory. But versus quantitative research, we will try to compare them. No? Now, for example, in the focus first, in the first row, qualitative is more on human behavior, experiences, and perceptions. But the study is in depth, no? In depth, not shallow, not a shallow study. Kasi kung mababaw lang yung intindi natin sa human behavior, chismis lang yan, no? Samang tao yan, ganun. Wala ka namang measurable factor kaya masamang tao yan, no? So those things. Versus in quantitative research, in quanti, we need to measure relationships, patterns, and trends through numeric data. So we have evidence in this case. We need numbers for us to prove our point in quantitative research. Now, on the second row, what are the information that we need to process? In quali, you knew that we need words, images, and observations. Unlike in quanti, we need to use statistical analysis through softwares or through manual calculation to test hypotheses and make generalizations. Have you experienced doing a hypothesis? Sino nag-try ang gumawa ng hypothesis dito? Ano na ulit ang hypothesis? Miss Adelpha? Huwag ka nang tumayo. College. College na tayo. Yung estimated outcome, no? Your as Miss Vidal is saying, educated guess, no? Educated guess. Hindi yung guess na halimbawa sa yung sa behavior ng tao, paano mo measure ang wag na. Parang masama pa naman yung sasabihin ko. Ah, for for example, why is it that tricycle drivers behave that way? No, makobra, no, doble, ganun. Capacity. What is your educated guess on their behaviors? Now, we need numbers to prove our point in this case. Now, hypothesis, in the future, we will discuss different measures or a method in proving a hypothesis. So for example, H0, H1, H2. Ewan ko kung na-try nyo na yun, no, using statistics to prove a certain hypothesis. No? The third is the manner of interpretation. In qualitative, it is more on emotion, more on preferences. That's why it is subjective. No? Nabi mo kanina, ganyan ang mga tricycle driver kasi ano sila. Yan. Ganid po. Emotional. That is an emotional or subjective interpretation. Unlike objectivity, no, the manner of interpretation in quantitative research, objectivity and replicability. Now, objectivity and replicability, paano mo naman bigyan ng emotion ng number? No? 69, you know? Or ano ba, 42, 420, mga ganyan na number. Paano bigyan ng emotion yung mga ganyan? That's why it is objective and replicable. We have proper method in reading information, reading numeric data. In the fourth row, in the data collection of quali, we need to do interviews, observations, and focus groups. Now, remember class, remember that in qualitative research, you yourself is the instrument. Kayo mismo ang instrument. When you gather the data, you are the instrument. You will be the one who interpret the data. Unlike in quantitative research, the data collection includes surveys, experiments, and structured observations. Now, this is where we need to prove a point in qualitative versus quantitative research. This is one of the main differences. In quantitative research, it is harder because it involves processing of solid evidence. Unlike in qualitative research, you are the one to interpret. Therefore, there will be biases that would include your observation. For example, for example, interviews, observations, and focus groups can be processed using the five senses. Now, for example, nakipagkwentuhan na kayo kay lolo nyo. Lolo, kailan ka pinanganak? Kamo. 1932 anak, sabi niya. Tapos, ikaw, napaprocess mo kaagad yung information, yung data. That is processed using one of your five senses, the sense of hearing. No? Ano din yung pruweba mo na pinanganak 1932? Sinabi mo, ay ito, picture ko, kasama yung kaibigan ko na Hapon. Picture ko na. Ayan, nakita nyo. Yung proof yun. So that is an indication that you can process the data just by observing it using your eyes. One of the five senses. Versus data collection using experiments, especially experiments and structured observations. You cannot just observe a certain phenomena by using the five senses. For example, you want to study the indoor air quality. Sige nga, i-process nyo nga yung information using the five senses. Madilaan mo ba ang hangin? Nakikita mo ba ang hangin? Nahahawakan mo. Ilagay ko sa container yung hangin, i-process ko yung data. Ganun ba? No? That is the difference. The manner of processing in data on quantitative research entails scientific instruments. It is beyond the capability of the five senses. Beyond na. Huliin ko to hangin. Process ko. Igarapon mo. Diyos. Good luck na lang. No? Higupin mo, no? Higupin mo, no? Interpret mo. Qualitative, no? Interpret mo. Interpret mo yung hinigup mo na utot, ganun. Yeah. Indoor air quality nga. Patry nyo yung ganun, nakahigop kayo ng utot. Pero sabi nila, nasusukado sila. Anyway, bakit kasi napunta tayo doon? The fifth row includes the analysis. Now, when you gather the information, for example, words, phrases, pictures, images, videos, how do you analyze it? You analyze it by thematic. For example, na-try nyo nang magkipagkwentuhan sa friend nyo na sanga-sanga yung kwentuhan. Sanga-sanga. Yung chismisan to the max na kwentuhan. Oh, totoo. Ganon. Tinatanong mo yung friend, totoo? Paano mo na sabi yan? Ganon. So that is actually, hindi nyo namamalayan, nag-i-interview kayo doon sa friend nyo na nagrarant, no? Di nyo namamalayan eh. Totoo. Ganon. Actually ako ito yung hindi namamalayan ng mga friends ko na-master ko ang na-master ko ang the art of using synonyms. Synonyms. You know why? Nagrarant siya sinasabi ko ay grabe. Oh? Basta yung similar words lang, para lang magsali-salita lang siya. No? Yung sama niya naman niya. Ganon. Para lang magsali-salita. Dire-diretso. No? So that is the art of synonyms. But again, bakit tayo napunta doon? No? Kung na-try nyo na yun, if you have tried that conversation that is branching out, igsasanga-sanga sila, no? Mag-uusap lang kayo tungkol sa pangit niyang friend. Kaya nga, pangit yung ugali. Sorry. Tapos napunta sa food, napunta sa place. That is what we call thematic analysis. If you can group the entirety of your conversation, you can group it. No, that is thematic analysis. Now, versus quantitative research. Again, I am talking about numbers here. So, how do you measure numbers? How do you analyze numbers? You can analyze numbers by correlation by testing the information like the t-test, the chi-square test, and others. No, using statistical softwares. Even the variance, even the standard deviations, you can use it using mathematics, statistics. No? Sige nga, i-statistics nyo nga yung kwento ng friend mo. Siguro pwede, no? Ilang hours siya nagsalita. No? Ilang hours siya nagsalita. Meron. Mag-edit na naman ako pag ganito Meron nga kaming teacher nun meron siyang she has a certain yung sinasabi lagi? Expression, hindi mannerism, no? Expression, no? She has a certain expression on using this word. And my friend's number every time she talks about it. No? Siguro ginagawa nyo sa akin yan. No? Ginaganon nyo. Ay, pangilang ulit niya nang sinabi to. Yan. Yan, quantitative analysis yun. No? Yun. So that is an example of quantitative analysis. And I need you I need you to be cautious about this class. Huh? I need you to be cautious about this because you can use this as a weapon. No, ethnography again can be used as a weapon. Especially if you will add up quantitative analysis. Paano nangyayari yun? Eh syempre nakikita mo yung behavior, meron kang proof. Yun ang problema. You can use this as a weapon. Paano natin magagamit? Oh, talaga. Sama-sama, no? But I want you to learn something. This is a book that was published in 2022, I think, 2021. The title is The Architects of Disinformation. Architects of Disinformation. You know the content of that book? It talks about the trolling of a certain presidential candidate. How did that happen? How did he win? No, eventually. No? So when you use ethnography with statistics, you can do anything. Hindi pa ba kayo nagtataka kung bakit sa sa Facebook nagsalita lang kayo din ng random, biglang may ads about that. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever experienced googling something you need and then mag-a-appear sa feed mo? No. That's why Facebook as well as TikTok is now facing allegations on selling out our information to companies. Because that is still information. Now this is what you need to learn about your data, your personal data. This is what you need to learn. Ako nga siguro dahil mahilig ako sa meme, kaya puro meme na lang nakikita ko sa Facebook ko, sa feed ko. But I need you to be cautious about this because first, data can be used against you. No, and in every product that is free, it means that you are the product. Nagigets nyo? If a service is free, then you are the product. No? You think about it. So yung social media na accounts nyo, please take caution in using it. So yun, pagka i-combine mo yung dalawa yan, nakakatakot gamitin. Nakakatakot gamitin. You have a certain behavior and you can prove that certain behavior that is dangerous. But some sciences use statistics and qualitative analysis. Paano yun? Paano nila ginagawa? Mga psychologists natin. Pansinin nyo, i-interviewin ka nila yan. I-interviewin ka nila, magpapatest pa sila yan. No? That is what they are using in learning what is your current mental capacity or mental health. Kaya nilang Kaya nilang i-measure yun. No? Siyempre pinag-aralan nila baka may certain measure ang narcissistic, may certain measure, ano pa ba yung ibang mga ugali? May anger management issue, bipolar. Now, in qualitative, isang slide pa lang tayo. In qualitative research class, the findings are descriptive and exploratory, whereas quantitative research is conclusive and generalizable. Conclusive and generalizable. And allowing for predictions and comparisons. Now, kaya nga hindi masama ang loob ko na hindi nanalo sa best thesis sa Mapua. Because the one that won the best thesis in 2022 is this. The findings is about cancer research. Yung sa akin architecture lang. This is far more important because it can predict and it can compare. And it can be used generally. Cancer research no? It can be applied to any human being. No? That is the importance of using statistical analysis or scientific method. Itong tawag natin dito kasi hard science. Hard science. This is hard science. Hard science. No? This is hard science because it is having solid evidence. Evidence that you cannot question. No? Kasi may evidence ka, measured pa. Wala na ito yung summary niya. Ano? Bibigay ko naman to Okay, let's begin in survey research. Bakit? Mag-survey sa okay. Okay, tapos na ang lecture sa RRL. Tumigil kayo. Survey na tayo. Under to sa quanti. Kako nga kanina, ito, one of the methods in quantitative is survey. Survey. Hindi survey. 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 You are very Carabao. Cover sana cover. Ay, nakita mo yung cover ni ano? Now, method. Method niya. Method. It's method. Method. Okay. Surveys are more powerful when you have a population that is larger. No? That represents a certain population. Now, let us be clear about this. And we need to be aware of key points in surveys. Surveys. First is the data collection. Now, in data collection class, the most efficient form would be a larger number. Larger number. Hindi larger. Larger number. For example, as I have showed you earlier in the previous lectures, there is a certain research about the male genitalia, about how many respondents, mga thousands of respondents. So that is a way for us to quantify and generalize things. Okay? That's why it is far more important to have a large number of respondents in data gathering. Pero kung hindi nyo kaya, huwag nyo ipilit. No? Huwag nyo ipilit kung hindi kaya. For example, if there are only 5 doctors in Tuguegarao that is specialized in pediatrics, huwag nyo naman nagdagdagan. 5 na nga lang, dagdagan nyo pa. So that is data gathering. But we are talking about surveys here. Okay? But if your subjects or your respondents is limited only less than 100, do not force your statistical analysis to be that extensive. The second is generalizability. Now, since the generalization of a certain population cannot always be be used using the same population. Ergo, that is IT. For example, pagka gusto mong i-survey ang buong Tugigaraw, 120,000 people, you find a way to find respondents that will represent the city. Hindi yung 100% i-survey mo. Ha? Galing naman, no? 120,000 i-survey mo. Please, in generalizability, you find a way in doing a calculation on the representation of the population. No? That the population can be represented by this group. For example, Slovin's formula is the best, I think, the most widely used formula for generalizability. The representation of a population. For example, dito sa architecture department, kung ang population natin ninyo na students is 500, how much would be your respondents to represent the 500? Wala naman 500 din, 100%. No? So, for instance, if you will calculate the population that would represent the 500, kailangan nyo to, itong Slovens. Buti na lang, hindi ko napura. No? N is equal to capital letter N over 1 plus capital letter N. Margin of error is squared. So, ang N dyan, yung sample number nyo, sample, the N here, the capital letter N here is the population. So, ilalagay nyo lang, transfer nyo lang. Tapos, ang margin of error dito, 5%. Ang lilitaw, kung gusto nyo mag-survey sa architecture department is 222.22. Pero syempre, alangan naman 0.22 lang ang i-survey mo sa isang tao. So, 223 na lang. No? Nag-gets nyo? Alam nyo naman ang Sloven's formula, right? Okay. So, wala tayong problema dun. The third is versatility. Now, class, since we are living in the 21st century, please do not depend on face-to-face surveys. In versatility, you can combine different types of survey questions or survey methods, like online and face-to-face. You can combine those two. Even telephone surveys, you can do that. Now, the fourth is standardization. Again, please be mindful of our standards in the principles of data collection as well as interpretation. The fifth is quantitative analysis. When we say quantitative analysis, we use softwares like SPSS, Jamovi, sometimes Stata, and the most basic is Excel. No? Sabi nila hindi importante ang Excel pagka data analysis. Dali mo naman. No? Minsan mas magandang gamitin ang Excel pagka nililinis ng data. When we try to clean the data. Okay? So the first stage would be in quantitative analysis in statistics. You clean the data in the Excel and then process it in a software, SPSS. Or you can do a manual formulation, no? Mag-formula ka sa Excel, pwede 'yun. Pwede ko naman ituro sa inyo 'yun. Equals var.s lang doon, lalabas ang variance. Square root pa lang 'yun, tapos na. No? The sixth is cost-effective. Now, surveys class is the most cost-effective. Sa totoo lang. Ito ang pinaka mabilis gawin. Imagine mag-survey kayo Ay, hindi. Imagine, magko-qualitative kayo. Pupunta kayo sa liblib na lugar. No? Dala-dala niyo pagkain niyo. 5 days kayo na mag-stay doon para mag-interview. Masama, wala pang tubig. Yung tubig lang nila galing sa tubig ulan. May ganon. Tumigil kayo. Ha? Ay, oo. Na-try ko na mag-survey na kawawa ko. Na nag-bike ako ng 20 kilometers. Yes. Babalik nauulanan na ako sa Igig. Ang dilim-dilim. Sino taga-Igig dito? Walang light pag gabi. Di ba? Sana ang Igig gumawa ng mga street lights nila sa National Road. Para sa mga researcher. Ha? Oh, hindi ako nag-exaggerate. I'm not exaggerating. Pang naman, pang electrical engineering. Pwede sana mag-propose ng street light sa Igig. Pero nakalutang. No? Lumulutang siya, lumilipad. Naka-drone siya na ilaw. Every afternoon lalabas siya sa barangay. Tapos i-align na lang nila sarili nila sa National Road. Ilaw. Astig Igig, no? Gulo ka ko, Gabriel. Dami ko na namang i-edit dito. Hindi ko na i-edit tong audio niya. Flexibility the flexibility that is used in surveys, surveys can be used in different sciences. Even architecture, even psychology, even history. Lahat yan pwedeng gamitin ng surveys. It is flexible. In longitudinal studies, when we talk about longitudinal studies, these are long-term studies. Long-term studies. Hindi siya by stage. Long-term studies. Let me give you an example. In the US, they studied a child from his or her birth until he became successful. 40 years they studied. Siguro yung lead researcher niya namatay na tinuloy ng mga advisee niya, mga nag-under sa kanya. Ganyan ang concept ng professorship and postdoctorals. Postdoctoral studies and doctoral studies, ganyan ang concept niya. It is long-term. The one that we are currently studying, that was published in December, yung first na instance ng study ng Anthropocene is 2018 pa ata, 2016. Pero diretso hanggang ngayon hindi matapos-tapos na research. Hindi matapos-tapos. That is longitudinal research, but that is quantitative also. Because it could be measured. Ngayon is the lead scientist is from Germany. Kami yung dito kami yung tinutusan dito sa Siyempre, alipin lang tayo. Yung lead scientist namin sa Germany, siyempre, dito kami assist lang. Ganun lang. That is the concept of longitudinal studies. No? Ito summary niya. These are the, sorry maliit. Hindi pa. Hindi ko naman memorize ko ninyo. Hindi ko. Hindi ko naman yung pinipilit na memorize ko. Pero lalabas. I don't know. Ano? Ay, pag ano nga, calculator. Ito yung iba't ibang, ayan na, hindi na ako nag-English. These are the commonly used survey methods. Now, we have 8. First is cross-sectional survey. Cross-sectional survey, it is focused only in a span of time, in a behavior. Single point of time lang yan. No? Limited lang. The second is longitudinal survey, as I explained earlier. Third is cohort. Cohort survey, characteristics or experience. Now, you can be a cohort. No? Pwede kayo mag-liba ako cohort. Cohort study. You can, what they call this, you can participate in a cohort study. Pwede itong klase na to. Ilan kaya dito magiging architect? 100% daw, sir. That is a cohort study. Ilan kaya dito magiging 50? No. That is a cohort study. No? Fourth is panel survey. So the panel survey is medyo lagari, no? Lagari yan. Panel survey is repeated survey. No, repeated survey. For example, they want to study the change of behavior of a group of people, then they need a panel survey. No, lagari, ulit-ulit. Mabalik ka. Nagbago na kaya ito. The fifth is face-to-face survey. Self-explanatory, F2F. No? Self-explanatory, face-to-face survey. Six is telephone survey. I do this by saying to the other person in line that ang record ko to ha. Record ko to, interview ko sa'yo para sa reference ko. You can do that. Pwede niyo paalam. Even the engineers of certain municipalities, you can interview them through phone. Seven is mail-in survey. Very rare. No? This is very rare. Mail-in survey. Yung ipapadala sa'yo yung survey. Papadala sa bahay. Yung snail mail. No? But, ginagawa ito ng PSA. Sometimes PSA do this. No? Itong face-to-face survey. Na-try nyo na? Na-try nyo na magipag-usap sa PSA? And that's all. Di ba? Yun, tatanungin lahat kayo mga kapatid. Lahat kayo mga kapatid. Anong pinag-aralan nyo? Yung mga yun, PSA yun, hindi sila asset. No, huwag kayo matakot. Huwag kayo matakot, hindi sila asset. No? Yan. Hindi ko na lang i-edit tong folder. Okay? And the eighth and the most widely used now is the online survey. Online survey. Yan. Nakikita niyo mga kuya, ate nyo noon na online survey. Kung sumagot kayo, no, if you have answered their questionnaires before, very good. Very good. Congratulate yourself. Sana kayo na hindi sumagot. Sana pagsensya kayo. Sana hindi bumalik sa inyo yung karma. Hindi, dapat lang. Although hindi naman required they ask you to take part, take part. If it is proper or if it is appropriate to your context. Na? So online surveys. In the previous years, online surveys was discouraged. Pero nagbabago na ang mundo eh. The world is changing. We're living in the 21st century na. My God. Now, how, okay, constructing a survey na. Anong oras na? Ay, mahaba pa. Now, let's construct a survey. Now, we have about how many steps? 7 steps in constructing a survey. Now, first is, again, call it, define the objectives. The second is to select the survey method. Select the survey method. You can do mix or combination of survey method. Okay? The third is design the survey instrument. Now, how do you design the survey instrument? The survey instrument class is AKA, also known as the questionnaire. The questionnaire. Now, the questionnaire should include clear and concise questions. And the second is consider the order of questions, response options, and skip patterns. Ito class. Ito lagi ang sinasabi ko sa mga nagiging estudyante ko sa thesis. When you construct your questionnaires, please you group them by theme. For example, the first 5 questions talks about planning. The second 5 questions talks about design. The third 5 questions would be about sustainable strategies. That is a good construction of questionnaires. Bakit yun? Bakit ganun ang construction ng questionnaires natin? Eh, gusto mong mag-contribute yung respondent mo sa design eh. No? Gusto mong mag-contribute eh. So, that is the preference of the respondent. Then, by that being, you will apply their responses to your design. For example, magde-design ka ng hospital, ang lumitaw na best color for hospital for them would be color yellow. Yellow. So yellow. 62%, ay 69%. 69% yellow ang sagot nila. Tapos 23% lumitaw green. Tapos yung pangatlo ng preference, 8% red. So, with that response, that would be incorporated to your design. Paano kung mangyayari yan? Nagtay sila. Oh, 3%. That is 3% yellow. That is 3% green. That is 3% white. 1% black. Oh, may sapat na black. Color ng hospital. Ano gagawin mo dun sa tatlo? Gagawin mo sa tatlo, i-apply mo sila. I-apply mo sila tatlo. You creatively design using. Alam naman naka-style na ganun. You creatively design that using. Okay? Clear ba? Clear. So you structure your questionnaire, ha? You structure your questionnaire based on the theme that you want the respondents to contribute. It can be design, green strategy, or planning strategy. Okay? mga nakatapos sa research, academic na tapos na, pwede nyo lang gawin ng conceptual framework nyo. Then do the factoring. And then based on those factoring, you base your questionnaires. Okay? Now, for example, I will give you an example. Gasgas na kasi ang housing eh. Ano ba ang dito? Ang enthusiasm right? Orthopedic Rehabilitation Center. Pag-questionnaire siya. First group of questionnaires talks about rehabilitation. Second, teka lang, buti na lang pinaalala ko. Second set of questions talks about planning method. Third, talks about the environment inside the hospital. Third set of questionnaires yun na. Sa tatlong sets na yun, mag-base ka ng mga tanong. Doon ka magawa ng mga tanong. Do you feel comfortable in this space? Ganon. And I commend my previous students, sila Ana Eclipse, sila Israeli, makasiray tagal si Jessica Balagan. Their questionnaire, they included pictures for the respondent to choose from. So kung alin doon ang pinakamataas, yun yung sinunod nila na strategy in their design. Even the interiors. Ito mo gawin yun. Rehabilitation center. Kaya may sinasabi si Miss Arami. Have you ever experienced entering a rehabilitation center? Yes or no? Ay, mamaya ka rin. Mamaya yun na. Sorry, father. Andito naman siya kagad. Now, in the next slide, we have types of survey questions. Sorry, maliit. No, sorry. The first kinds of survey question is open-ended, and the second part is closed-ended. The difference between the two, the open-ended, you need or you give the respondent the freedom to participate or to write his opinion. That is open-ended question. Now, a closed-ended question may have dichotomous, multiple choice, Likert or Likert scale, semantic differential, ranking, and matrix. First, dichotomous is formatted yes or no, like Ms. Alamin is talking about earlier. Have you experienced entering a rehabilitation center? Yes or no? E paano kung 60%? 60% no. Ibig sabihin ba nun, invalid na lahat na yung buong survey mo? No. Because, first and foremost, it presents the population as unexperienced, as well as showing the perception of people that is not yet experienced having to visit a rehabilitation center. So it's not bad to use dichotomous questions. You just need to be creative in reading the data. Okay? The second is multiple choice. Alam niyo naman na multiple choice. Multiple choice. Sino dito ang which of these best represents a hospital? Ipagpakita niyo pictures. That is multiple choice. The third is Likert or Likert scale. Now, this is extensively used in psychology. Likert scale. It measures attitudes or opinions on a scale. For example, gusto nyo gusto nyo ako i-evaluate, ano yung attitude nyo sa akin? No? Or ano yung attitude ng teacher nyo? Strongly disagree. My teacher is, very quick. Pero sa akin, very quick nila guys. No? So, that is the use of Likert scale. Semantic differential, on the other hand, is talking about two opposite extremes. No? Ang Likert scale, nakita nyo na to 1 to 5. No? On a scale 1 to 5, 1 is strongly disagree, 5 is strongly agree. Ganon. Yung questionnaire niya. Then, alam niyo ba kung sinasabi ko ganun, yung subject sentence, tatlo, ganon. So, that is Likert scale. Now, semantic differential, to visit again, talks about two extremes. Good, bad, no? Mga ganun. Semantic differential. Then we have ranking. Alam niyo naman ang ranking. Alin dito ang priority ninyo? So, for example, what circulation pattern do you want to use? For example, in a park, radial ba? Centralized. Linear ba? Cluster. Diba? Ganun. Nag-guess nyo ako? I hope so. Matrix naman, madali lang yan kasi naka-tabulate na yung question. No? May pinagawa na akong matrix na sa inyo nung pa-exam. Kaya pa-exam ako sa inyo. Mga panelists yung matrix yun. Binilogan na yung ako sa akin sa matrix yun. The fifth step that you will do is to pilot test the surveys. You can do this by asking your friend to pilot test the survey. But, nagawa ka ng questionnaire. Ebe, ano mo nga ito? Ante, test mo nga itong questionnaire ko. Yun pala, may mga grammar doon. So, that is the importance of pilot testing. Test the questionnaire. Test it. As to the content, as to validity. No? Pati response option tsaka survey flow. When we say response option, how will you do it in Google Form? Draft box ba? Check box ba? Pindot ba? Ganun. Okay? 6 is to administer the survey. Ilabas mo na, i-float mo na. And the 7, after you floated the questionnaire in a given period of time, you analyze and interpret the data. Ito na naman yung mga meaning. Hindi ka lang basta-basta gumagawa ng survey. Kailangan mo i-interpret the data. No? So, yun nga. You cannot go away with surveys if you have begun floating. Pagka ano mo na, may pakita mo na, ay, wala na yan, walang atrasan na yan. No, walang atrasan na yan. Okay, clear tayo dito? Oh, this is clear. Ano? Tuloy pa natin. Tuloy pa natin. Okay, let's validate. 5 minutes. Mabilis ba? Mabilis ba? Kapag pa nga yun may kwento-kwento pa nga yun. Bro, nabibigla lang kayo ta. So, 5 minutes down.
Detailed. Okay na.
Okay na? Okay nyo talaga. Ay, masala yung dalawang isip. Kaya siyempre, kailangan i-guide mo kayo. Okay, let's proceed. No. Validating the survey questions. Na? Na? Totoo? Kunti na lang yan. Kaya naman, magreklamo ko yung parang reklamo ko yung parang pinapahirapan. Pinapahirapan. Na? So, sa Friday, kung RRM na. Okay, open mo siya. Alis na to. Parang makaway ako. Nagsabitan sila, Leonard. Alam niyo kung bakit di pa ako nag-open sa Aralix na bagong upload? Di pa ako nag-open. Kasi I need you to collect yourself first. May mga na-shock nung bakit na mapagod? Ano, meron na 5 minutes na. Meron na? Okay. Madali lang to, madali lang to. Madali lang to, class. Pero ang proseso. Okay? Invalidating questionnaires, class. Hindi basta-basta na i-flow mo agad yan. No? You need to check the content, the base validity, the construct validity, the criterion validity, convergent and discriminant validity. Ano, kaya nyo pa ba? Reliability, bias testing, response bias, translation, and cultural adaptation. Maraming gagawin, no? Ano, gusto nyo mag-break muna? Or ano? Tuloy ko na lang? Or next meeting na lang to?